Praise the Lord. This weather has been so nice these last couple of days. I've just been enjoying it. I've been going on walks. I've been taking care of myself. I've been going out and just enjoying the sun. It's been warm. I don't have to wear as many layers. It's such a good time. Although I am pretty sick right now. That is a downside I do have to deal with today. I'm going to try my best to talk as clearly as possible, but no promises that it won't sound pretty bad. Anyway, today's topic is going to be about the caste system of my kingdom. What are the classes? What are the different hierarchies? What are the different rulings above people? Of course, every caste system has had a social order, of course. There's been the peasants, the people at the bottom, the lower class, the people who do the majority of the labor for the upper class and the rulers and the kings. Now, when you're thinking about a caste system, this is going to be your majority every single time. Your working class. You have all these people going out there and achieving something, but they're also working for somebody else. And a lot of the times, even middle class people in today's society, we sometimes feel like we're also in that working class, that bottom class of the caste system. Because even in the society, in today's world right now, yeah, there is pretty much a social hierarchy. There is a caste system going on, whether we know it or not. People do get treated better or worse depending on where they stand in the social hierarchy or how much they're contributing to society. And then next is going to be your middle class, your serfs, your artisans. These are the ones that usually either make their own business or they have a lot of people that are working for them. So the way I like to think about it in today's world, you have your managers, and this is a lot of the stuff I was talking about in my last video with the green topic, with my the 4 pillars of Instigma. This also kind of goes into more of that green stuff. So I'm kind of talking about that with the caste system here. But I'm trying to explain what a caste system would look like in the kingdom of Instigma. This isn't going to be the longest video either. I'm just kind of touching on it. Not only am I sick, first of all, I also don't really want to edit too much anyway. I know, I'm having a lazy day. It's okay. So, yeah, you have your middle class, the people that work either for themselves or have people working for them. And they get a lot more of the income because they went and made that risk. They could have failed, obviously. They could have failed, or the business could have shut down, or they could have not broken even, gone into debt that they can't pay off. All these kind of things are just risks that you have to take in order to get into this middle class, especially if you were starting out from the bottom trying to go up. It's a big risk. Now, you could be born into the middle class and you have a lot more money to work with already because you're pretty much going off of your parents' success and you inherit some of their money and you have a lot more to work with. So it's a little bit easier for you to stay and maintain that middle class status. And then you have the ruling class, the elites. Now, this isn't necessarily the top of the order. It could be. You could have government officials as the elites, per se, and you have them ruling over their people with the laws and all that kind of things. But then you also have just people who are essentially doing no labor, but have a lot of people laboring for them. Even middle class people are under them, they're branched off from them, and they're pooling all this money together. All the income is going to them, most of it. And, the elites, again, like my argument for the middle class or the higher class, the elites would have also been born into that role, been born into their wealth, And being born into wealth is really just a privilege, honestly. If you're not born into wealth, it's very difficult to attain wealth, because not only are you battling against, first of all, you have to have money to make money, essentially. It's more of the investment sort of mindset, right? You have to invest money to get a return on investment, to get more money, at least at a decent rate. Because sure, you can be working for a wage and you can be saving up, but your money's not going to be growing exponentially. It's just going to be added. But if you have your money working for you, it's going to grow exponentially, and then you'd be richer. But the less money you have, the less options you have to invest. And the less options you have to invest, you're kind of going to be stuck where you are. So yeah, today's world definitely has aspects of a caste system. You have to kind of be born into a certain social standing, or else you're going to be there the whole time. But you could easily break your mindset, take a huge risk, and then get lucky. You have to be kind of lucky. You have to be blessed almost in order to go above where you're socially situated. Or you have to do something that'll either get you attention and interest, at least. You have to get interest from other people in order to essentially fund your lifestyle. Whether that be coworkers, bosses, or clients, even if you're doing a business. Man, I know I just said the weather's good, but it's kind of getting hot in here. I'm not even wearing too many layers. Oh my goodness. What else can I talk about? This is not going to be too long. So let's talk about what the kingdom of Instigma would kind of look like. I know my voice sounds so bad. It's so bad. My throat. So let's start from the bottom up. So the kingdom of Instigma would have the majority of the populace going into farming and agriculture, the red category. We want to be able to feed our population, be able to attain that. And then the rest of the majority is going back into working for the upper class, the higher ups, the elites, essentially. You have to kind of have people working under somebody else's authority in order to get anything done. Because if everybody has their own authority, then nothing's really going to get done. You have to have a like mind, a similar goal, in order to achieve anything of substance, really. And that's why it's important to go under a king, having one person to kind of take the orders from, and have it kind of trickle down into the elites, the upper class and the lower class, in order to actually go out and do something. And obviously it wouldn't just be one thing at a time. You'd be having multiple task force doing multiple different things in order to get a positive benefit from it all, in order to really reap the rewards of what we're trying to do here. So you have the lower class doing most of the labor, doing most of, and it sounds bad, right? It sounds kind of unfair that they're doing most of the labor, but also, are they going to be the kind of people to take a risk and try to get into a better position? I don't think so. And I think people who don't take risks and people who kind of just follow orders anyway, they kind of deserve to be lower class in a way. It does sound kind of wrong. It does sound kind of mean. But that's just kind of the way it is. You have to kind of go out there and risk your life, not only with financial, but also literally risking your life, because people are going to be envious of your position over them, you know, and you're kind of at risk of, you know, being overthrown, essentially. So you have to have all these different barriers to protect yourself and protect your money and protect what you're trying to build. And that goes for a king, that goes for the elites, that goes for the upper class, and even sometimes the lower class. But they're not going to have as much to protect. They're kind of just going day to day by their paycheck to paycheck, right? At least in today's world. But under Instigma, it's going to be a little bit different of what people are trying to do. They're trying to benefit the entire community they're trying to do what's good for everybody, not just for themselves. And I think that's what we kind of need to move into, the direction that we're supposed to go, is that people should be working to help the entire community. There should be more national pride, in a sense, right? We should be trying to better everybody that we care about, right? Not just going out there attaining wealth to indulge in our pleasures. No, that's wrong. We're not supposed to indulge in our pleasures. We're supposed to live for God by living for others, right? At least that's how I see it. So yeah, this lower class would have a lot of, well, most of it, right? We have all these machines now, all this technology. It would make it a lot easier for less and less people to actually need to do this. Like, we don't need to go out there and have people plowing the fields. We don't have to have entire teams for that. We can just do that with a simple machine, a simple plow. And then we have like something to spread seeds. We have something to water the plants too. It's all automated. And if we're gonna make a modern day kingdom, we have to take that into account, right? We can't just do everything with human labor anymore. We have all this technology to use at our advantage. It's pretty good. Now, this is the majority of people, right? We can't just let the machines do all the work for us. We have to have actual flesh and blood humans doing this labor, or else it's gonna kind of be almost pointless. We'd be living in kind of a dystopia almost. Think about it, right? If we let machines do all of our busy work, and then we get to a point where humans don't have to do anything, we're basically playing God at that point. We're basically taking away purpose from our lives, if you think about it. I mean, sure, to some extent, I think, yeah, we should be using this technology. But then again, we're in a world now where everyone thinks that they're so important, that they're so above it all, because they have so much privilege with all the technology that we don't have to do monotonous tasks, essentially. And yeah, technology is good for that. I do agree that technology is useful as a tool, but we shouldn't go all out. We should still have lower class people working for their higher ups, whether it be agriculturally or not, right? And then you can also have different industries, right? You've got mining, farming, what else? I probably should have taken notes on this, huh? I actually like where this topic's going, but you have all these different industries that you have the lower class working towards building and getting, essentially. Then, what else for lower class? Right, so these people, I don't doubt that there'd be some jealousy. Jealousy has been a thing throughout all of human history. It's inherently a sinful, natural thing that we all feel because of human sin. And it sucks though, because the lower class is always going to aspire to be more like the upper class, no matter what, because obviously they're thinking like, oh, they're better off than me, I want to be like them. And yeah, that is a pretty noble goal actually to set for yourself, but are you really going to go out there and risk it just to maybe be better off than you are now? It does sound strange. It does sound a little off to say that maybe these people shouldn't try to be more than they are. But I think they should at least try it at least once in their life. You have to have a drive for it. You have to be a certain kind of person to go out there and be like, wow, I want more out of life. I want to do more, and here's how I'm going to do it. They actually have to have a plan. They have to make calculated risk, right? You can't just do risks all willy-nilly. You have to be kind of planned and calculated with this stuff in order to actually attain your goals. And then the last thing for the lower class I do want to mention is not only are they working for like a wage, right? They need to be able to have access to food themselves. They have to have access to clean water and what's the term I'm thinking of? It starts with an H. Starts with an H. I want to say hydration, but that's not it. Shoot, man. I can't think right now. My brain is so foggy. Alright, forget it. I'm just going to move on. So yeah, they have to have access to all this stuff in order to facilitate their lives, in order to actually thrive in a society. We can't just price them out. We can't just make their lives more expensive to survive and keep their wages the same. That's what we're struggling with nowadays. The lower class, the people who are working for all these companies, the people who aren't taking any risks, they go to college, they pay all this money to get a degree, and then they spend their life working under somebody else's name, not their own, because they're going to be dust to the wind when the time comes. It's okay. It's maybe what they were meant for. But excuse me, my goodness. Anyway, yeah, so they'd be working under all these people in order to basically set their life up and maybe make their kids better off, give them a better chance to kind of rise up the ranks. I think that's what we should all aspire to do. Make it a little bit easier for the next generation to go out there and make those big risks in order to essentially go up the hierarchy, right? Think about it, right? If you don't think you're able to take a risk, maybe wait another generation when your kids grow up, have them kind of aspire to be someone who does take risks. It's a lot about mindset. You have to think about mindset when it comes to these things. Because a lot of people get stuck on their head thinking in self-doubt, right? It's the self-doubt that they think, I'm not going to be able to do this. It's not for me. I'd rather just go and be a doctor or something and get a lot of money that way. But you're not working for yourself. You're working for somebody else. It doesn't matter how well paid the profession is. What matters is what you're doing with your life, what you're going to become. You have to kind of be transformed by your own mindset to be a kind of person who goes out there and becomes the person that other people want to be doctors for you. Now let's talk about the upper class. The upper class is the people who are more so the managers in today's world. Maybe they, at one point, managers or like owners of businesses. Not technically like bureaucrats, but people who kind of rule over other people as their subjects, but as like a smaller community. So you have the upper class is all these people who either took a risk or have a lot of skills that they can kind of use to teach other people to do the work for them. So, and a lot of that's experience too. Sometimes if you have a lot of experience as a lower classman and you kind of get way too experienced that it becomes your own category of person in that field, you can kind of go out there and it makes it a lot easier to train people to work under you. That's another aspect of it too, especially in today's world. You have all these people that have been working for these companies for years on end, and they get promoted to these higher positions. Those are more so your upper class people. They're getting paid more. They're more leaders than anything. People are working under them, and it's because of all that experience that they've gotten throughout the years. But then there's also the people that are born into it. Maybe they have a lot of money. They start a business. Maybe not a huge business, a huge corporation, but enough money to kind of take a risk, set aside a business, and kind of have people come in and work for them as well. It all kind of funnels under the same branch here. People working for them, the upper class. And it's kind of been how it was back in the medieval era as well. So yeah, these upper class people are able to teach the lower class people the same job that they want them to do, or that they were doing, but now they're teaching them, so that it's more branched out. Man, I'm still getting hot in here. My goodness. I might open a window, but I'm not too sure. The sound quality's not going to be as good if I open a window. I know it's a little windy out. So just to kind of finish up this thought, I'm not going to spend too much longer on this video, I'll be honest. I'm kind of suffering in this car. So, upper class rules over the lower class works for the upper class, and they kind of generate this value together. Now let's talk about the elites, the elite class. So under Instigma, it's a little bit different. The elite class is people who are very selected. So here's how it kind of works under Instigma, right? You have the lower class and the upper class. The lower class are the regular people, the majority, doing the most of the labor. The upper class is the people who manage those lower class people and also help them with the experience that they have in order to teach, share, and provide more value between each other. The elites are the most experienced and the most capable of all these people. So here's how this would work, right? We have the king, or in my case, the prince. I'm the prince here. And I would pick out one person that's specialized in a specific field, right? Let's say, and these people are very specialized. They're very focused on one topic, one specific aspect of life. And I'm not saying it's bad to switch up, like, what it is you want to do in your life. But these people literally dedicate their entire lives to this one aspect of life. They are so dedicated to what they're doing. They're so knowledgeable. They're so above and beyond with this stuff that they're put into this position. And it's only one person out of everybody that I pick out personally that would basically run the managers, the upper class, and then by proxy they would be running the lower class as well. So these elite individuals would be overseeing everything. They would talk to these managers. They would make sure everything's running smoothly, everything's going good, profits are up, people are buying, and there's a reason they're elite, right? They have all this experience, all this knowledge, all this capability to do whatever it is that they're doing. And they go into this field, or they come out of the field to work under me, the prince, the king. And they would run everything. And I would make sure they're doing a good job of it. Or else I'm going to replace them. And if somebody, and here's the thing, the elite position under Instigma is a very scarce thing. You could be there for only a day before I find someone new to replace you with. It's very competitive for a reason. I want the best of the best to be in charge of everything under that one topic. Let's say it was you, right? And you're very knowledgeable, skilled, and educated about sailing and ships and being on the sea. And you would run all these fishing boats, all the Navy essentially. Actually, I had a Navy, all these warships, right? And you would be the general, essentially. That's what your role would be. You would be the general over all these things, but you'd still be working under me. But if someone's more capable than you, they're able to lead more effectively, they're able to accomplish tasks without much delay. Like, you have to be very decisive, you have to be very skilled, knowledgeable, and you have to pitch in where it counts, right? That's what's going to get you in the elite position under Instigma. At least for a certain thing. You have to be very dedicated to what it is you do. And if you decide that you want to kind of invest into something else, and you stop focusing more on that one thing that you were initially brought in as an elite for, you're going to be kicked out. I'm afraid so. It's so competitive that you have to dedicate your entire working life to this one thing. It's it's a little mean-spirited, but it's also very beneficial to have such a competitive spot that only one person can fill and put them in such a position of power and influence. But they have to earn it. They really have to earn it. That's kind of the way I see it. And then the shortest category here on the scale, the hierarchy, of course you have the prince, the king, the royal family. These are the people running the entire province. They don't just run one aspect of the workforce. No, they would do everything. They make sure the laws are working, the people are working, they're fed, they're clothed, they're hydrated, they're making sure everybody's working together and they're happy. And the king also has to work on the finances too. Again, in order to be a good king, first of all, you have to lead. You have to rule with an iron fist. You can't waver. You can't just be all willy-nilly with this stuff. You have to be strong in your position of power. And yeah, that's the caste system under Instigma. The lower class, the workforce, people doing the labor. The upper class, the people making sure that the workforce is happy, healthy, and basically effective in what they do. Then you have the elite class, the one individual for each aspect of the work. They're making sure that everyone in the upper class is doing a good job leading the lower class, but they're also doing a job themselves. And then finally you have the kings, the prince, the queen and the princess, whatever. The royal family above it all. It all comes back together to that. And that's all for today, folks. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.